Hey, does your VS Code setup feel heavy? Lighten it up. With the brand new Profiles feature in Visual Studio Code, you can get a fresh configurable VS Code environment in seconds. Let's check it out. All right, so this is my VS Code, and you can see I've got a lot of extensions installed. The icons actually overflow my activity bar here. There's just quite a bit going on. So we can get a fresh setup for VS Code by going to Profiles. Now, everyone gets the default profile by default, but we can create a new one by going to Create Profile. When we do this, we have the option to create an empty profile or use the current profile, which is my current setup, to make a new one. So let's choose empty, and we're just gonna call this Web Dev. Now, when we create this, you'll notice that we get VS Code as it comes out of the box, right? So it's like a full reset without having to uninstall anything. There's no extensions installed. If we go to install, 0 extensions installed. My sidebar is back on the left, my zoom is back, the theme is back to what it was. So let's customize this a bit. Let's add the prettier extension. We're gonna need that. It's a must-have for web dev. And live preview is also a very good one to use for web dev. So let's add that one as well. And then let's get a new theme here. So let's look in categories and let's get the fairy floss theme, which is a nice purple theme. And we'll set that. Okay, so this is now our web dev profile. And we know this because it says web dev down here. And then up here in the top, we also see it in the title bar. So where is my default setup? Well, it's still there. If we come back to Profiles, go to Web Dev, let's go back to default, and my default setup is instantly restored. All of my extensions are back. It's kind of magical. Now, we can, as we said, create a new profile, or we can extend an existing one. So for instance, if we wanted to extend the Web Dev profile, let's do that. We'll say create a profile. Let's use the current profile, which is Web Dev, and we'll call this Web Dev Extended. And then we have the option to bring in things that we want. So maybe we want to bring in live preview and fairy floss, but not prettier. So we'll deselect that and create the profile. And then you can see if we go to extensions, we only have one installed. We have the theme, and then we have live preview, but we don't have prettier, okay? So we can extend existing profiles just like this. You can extend profiles that you create, and you can also extend profiles that we've created for you that we think you might like. So for instance, we've added some for Python, Angular, data science, Dockwriter, which would be like Markdown, Java, Node. So let's do the Python one. And you can see that before we actually create this profile based on the settings that we've provided for you, we have an option to customize this. So maybe we don't want this one and we don't want this one. Everything else looks fine. Let's create the profile. And here's our new Python profile that was just created. But perhaps we want to rename this, so we can let's just call this Super Python Setup. There we go. And again, it's in the title bar, so we know where we are. And as usual, we can go back to the default profile at any time. Now, profiles are designed to be shared. So let's say that we wanted to share our web dev profile. We think it looks really nice. Everybody should have a configuration this nice. So let's go here to Profiles and then Export. And we have two options here. So first of all, we can pick what we want to export. We're going to export the whole profile. But do we want to export to a local file or to a GitHub gist? So we're going to select a gist because that's something that we can actually share. And let's go ahead and say Open Link. So when we open that link, it opens in vscode.dev, and we have a chance to customize it before we even load it in Visual Studio Code, kind of like a preview. So let's create the profile in VS Code. It'll click Open, and we're creating our web dev profile, and we can just say Create. It's already there, so let's create a new web dev profile, and it's Web Dev More. There we go. And that is our profile. Now, what's nice about this is we can take this URL and we can just share it with the world. And as long as the URL to the profile is public, people will be able to import and see the setup that we have. So that's the new Profiles in Visual Studio Code, giving you a clean setup that you can customize and share with your friends. And by the way, if you're into sharing, share your VS Code setup in the comments below. We'd love to see how you customize Visual Studio Code. Happy coding.